Hi, how are you? My name is Christopher Marzullo. I would just love to thank Mr. Cook for allowing us this opportunity to show you exactly what we think the future of Apple will look like. Um, we understand that this is a new location, new city for about 5,000 new Apple employees, for example, engineers, computer scientists, and certain management personnel. We understand that you guys have contacted Cambridge Consulting Group, for example, McKinley, Wolf Bain, and of course us at Keynes Consulting. And we just wanted to thank you. And we want to understand that this is such a great opportunity for us to pretty much show you and explain to you our interpretation of the future of Apple. So please let me explain to you why we think Raleigh, North Carolina is exactly where Apple should be going next. Plant their foot with innovation there. So we know that Apple has moved into cities, for example, like Seattle, where Apple was starting to build a location, pretty much Amazon Web Services backyard, trying to take certain talent pools, certain students and graduates from companies that, from schools nearby, like University of Washington, that are like companies like Microsoft and Amazon Web Services are completely feeding from. We understand that Apple has completely planted its foot in, example, the Silicon Valley. For example, in Cupertino, where Apple has the Apple Park, the Metro Park, where it's just such an extravagant area and place where we know Apple or Steve Jobs as well as with the company has completely taken it and started where they knew the future and they know exactly what is going to come next. And we know that universities like Stanford and University of California at Berkeley and UC San Diego are all universities where we know that these students are always flocking to the Silicon Valley to see these tech giants and see these tech hubs and see if they can get jobs in there. Now we know that they've also seen Austin. They know that has a pretty certainly low cost of living, and we know that it is also a very good place for students that see that they haven't really quite made it to their full potential in, say, Silicon Valley, New York City, Seattle, and feel that is also a place where they can be. So I'd like to mention Raleigh's near talent pool. Now, see, in Raleigh, there is an area where we call it the Research Triangle Park. Now, the 3 points are North Carolina State University, a tremendous university for engineering students to come out of and completely get hired by any of the tech giants in the area. And for example, companies like Cisco and IBM and Red Hat and BBT Corporation and Verizon Communications have actually stamped their foot in Raleigh and have already seen that the talent pool is tremendous and is exactly like universities out west in California and down south and at University of Texas, TCU. So I'd like to explain how there's NC State, and then they have Duke University and University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Other universities where have tremendous engineering, computer scientist programs, entrepreneurship programs that some of these students and know exactly they're going to be starting businesses. And that's why some certain angel investors actually have angel investment programs at some of these programs, some of these universities, so they can pretty much follow a graduate's footsteps in its career and pretty much invest in its career. See, now back on the cost of living, like I said in Austin, Raleigh has a tremendously low cost of living. For example, its cost of living is 4.6% lower than any national average in the national average. And that's also because it has a very low corporate tax rate. It pretty much has a top 10 tax climate right now, and it has never always been that way, though, in North Carolina, for example, after the historic tax reform that really started to see results in 2011 explained in the report. Pretty much you can pay employees less because of how cheap it is to live here in Raleigh, and that is tremendous compared to an NYC location or a out west in Seattle location. Pretty much the average for a IT pro in Raleigh is probably it's about $92,000, and that is sustainable and that is reasonable in Raleigh for some of these tech companies because its cost of living is very low, and it's such a wonderful town. Just a nice southern charm town with a perfect climate all year round. A little hot in the summers, kind of cold in the winters, and they think it's habitable, and it is habitable. See, Raleigh it has such a unique economy. It's specializing in technology and other biotech companies, and IT jobs are expected to grow at 3% the next year, and about 9% the next 5 years. And we just believe that Apple should completely planting its foot in here and completely showing its highest capabilities. See, Raleigh promotes collaboration between major employers and startups. It's a huge hub for startups and tech startups because the entrepreneurship programs in these nearby talent universities like Duke, Wake Forest is also near, but it isn't part of the triangle. That's what they'd be calling it, the triangle. A lot of different companies and tech giants have been calling it this, and they know that Duke, UNC, and NC State have just exactly what they need in computer scientists and engineers. And we tremendously believe that Apple should be moving its next location there because their new employees that they're going to be gathering can easily be from these universities and probably will be. And they know more than anyone, since they've been going to school in there, that Raleigh is the town and is exactly what this future of Apple is going to look like. I'd like to thank you, everyone, including you, Mr. Cook, for being here and for listening to our opportunity for us to explain to you the next city that Apple should be having its next location. I'd like to thank you very much. Thank you.